Okay, good morning. We are going to make an X and plus block today, and it's going to look like this. And what you will need is 8 background squares that are 2 by 2 inches. You will need 4 corner pieces that are going to measure 3.5 inches each. You're going to need 4 outside accent pieces that are going to measure 2 inches by 2 inches, so 2 inches square. You're going to need 2 center pieces for your plus that are going to measure 2 inches square, and one that's going to measure 2 inches by 4.5 inches. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to snowball our corner blocks. So you can take these, and there's a couple ways you can do this. I'll show you both ways. So the first one, we're just going to take and draw a line straight across here, corner to corner on the diagonal, like that. And I am using a Air Erase pen. Okay, it's called Sewline. Sewline. It's so fine, Sewline. Okay, I am not sponsored by them. It's just a pen I like to use because it air erases. Okay, we're going to put that on one side, and we're going to stitch right down that line. Okay, let's get this set where I want it. Okay, and off we go. You're going to do that to each one of these. Another way you can do it is you can just fold it in half on the diagonal and carefully finger press. You don't want to slide your nail down, but you can see that'll make a crease. And you can follow that crease. Line your edges up carefully. You don't need to put a pin in, but if it makes you feel more comfortable, you can. I'm just going to go point to point. Same on this. Now, if you are wanting to be very precise, you can go ahead and draw your line, and that will work just fine as well. Some people use a tape on their machine that helps them stitch that straight line, and you can use that as well. Whatever method works best for you. This is the fun about quilting, is there's lots of different ways to do things. So we have a lot going on here today. We've got a crane coming out. My husband is a disabled vet, and they made a little shed for him, a garden shed, but the problem is accessing our garden. It's on the other side of our property from where the shed was dropped off. So we hired a crane to come through today. Now we're going to do the same thing, and they're going to airlift it over to the garden. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side of each one of these squares. So you're just going to flip this and go just like that, okay? I'm hoping this new method of filming, I got a new iPad, so it gives me a wider screen, and I'm also using my iPhone to film in the other direction, so hopefully I can splice the two and you'll be able to see what you need to see. Okay, here we go. This is such a fun block, and you can get as scrappy as you want with this. You could be really scrappy, or you could be very coordinated. I am going to do one this year as a leader and ender. Don't fight, kitties. As a leader and ender for a Christmas quilt, so that should be a fun project. Okay, it's a great way to tear through your scrap pile, and it's fun to look at them afterwards and see all the different quilts that you worked on during the year, and there they are. You may have given them away, but it will remind you of what you had. Okay, here we go. All right, so we've got those all finished. This is a really quick block, and you can chain piece these as I'm doing here. And if you're doing multiple blocks, you can just chain piece a bunch of these up and then cut them all at once, and you'll have that all set up. Okay, So we're going to cut 1/4 inch off of the sides here. Excuse me, I'm a little shaky this morning. I've already been out mowing the lawn and getting ready for the crane to come in, and that's going to be pretty fun. I'll take a video of that because it'll be fun to watch them move it over to the garden. We have lots of work to do in the backyard this year. The weeds, holy mackerel. We had a couple weeks of on and off rain, and just didn't dry out enough for us to spray them when they were just getting started. And then out here in Idaho, we're on the east side of Idaho in a little town called Ammon, which is right next to Idaho Falls. And the wind does pick up out here every day. So you can't be spraying any kind of weed killer when your wind is blowing, because you don't want to take out your lawns and your gardens and anything else. So, okay, we'll close that up. Now we're going to press these, and I'm just going to finger press these real quick. You're going to open it up and turn it so that your corner piece, the selvage edge there, is facing in, okay? And just make sure you have that opened all the way out. And we'll just give it a quick press over here. So you're going to do that to all 4 of those. I'll go ahead and do that real quick. So they're going to they fly it. They call it flying. They're going to pick it up with a boom and fly it across the yard like Peter Pan. And then it'll be right out in my garden, and I will be so happy. We have some little pavers out there, and we're going to build a little small patio in front of it so we can sit in our rocking chairs and watch the garden grow. And that will be nice. And, okay, just that fast. We got those done. We'll put this over here and give it a little press. Okay. All right, so we've got all 4 of those pressed. And now we're going to get to the X and the plus. Okay, so to do this, we're going to take one of our accent fabrics and we're going to stitch it onto the end of our plus. And you'll see how this all comes together. You're using a 1/4 inch seam allowance on all of these items. And then we're going to take this and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to stitch these 2 together. And we're going to do the same thing again. You're going to have 1 extra left over, and that's going to go on the other side of that long piece that we stitched first. So I will clip that off here. Okay, we've got that one on. Now we're going to stitch this to the other side. Just like that. Okay. Okay. I'll just snip these with my snips since I have them in my hand. Okay. Now we're going to press this open, and I'm going to press to the dark side. And just go ahead and finger press that open just like that, pressing your fabric to the dark side. And just like that. Okay. I'm just going to give those a little hit with the iron real quick. Okay. Now, we're going to lay out our block. So we've got a little star piece. And we're going to have this. We're going to put that in the center to go with the X. And this. And then we'll put this star piece over here. I'll put this little piece here, and we'll put this over here, and that's going to be our block. So we're going to take this, we're going to fold it over, and we're going to leave our X alone for right now. That's just going to sit in the middle. Just go ahead and line that up, and go ahead and give it a stitch. And we're going to take this and flip it over. And we're going to go ahead and give it a stitch. Again, 1/4 inch seam allowance. The really nice thing about this particular quilt is there's no seams to match up. You don't have to worry about it until you get to the X plus, and I'll show you that. There's a trick to that. Okay, now this was our top piece, and you want to make sure you check it before you get stitching, because if you sew it backwards, it's not going to work. Okay, so make sure that looks just like that. And you're going to go ahead and flip it over and line up your corner, and then we're going to just give it a stitch. So we had our guild garden party. We have a garden party every year, and it's a potluck, and it's so much fun. The gals all bring out some wonderful food. Again, we're going to make sure our piece is laying the way that we want it to. We're going to flip it over, and we're going to go ahead and grab that and line it up. Yeah, so we had a garden party and a nice potluck, and gals brought quilts that they were going to be donating to charity, and also some of their personal quilts. It was a fun little time, fun gathering. Okay, now here we are, and we're going to press this to the dark. Okay, so I'm going to finger press it first. So you want to press that so that you're pressing towards that center piece there. That way it doesn't show in your background. Okay, and I'm just going to give it, I finger pressed it, and now I'm just going to give it a little press on the iron just to get it nice and flat before we get going. Okay, that's one. We're going to do the same thing with this one. We're going to finger press these towards the center. Just run your fingernail down and it will open the seam all the way so you have a nice block, okay? I'll give that a little press with the iron. Okay. All right, there we go. Now, the trick to this, you're gonna go ahead and flip over. You're gonna take your center piece and you're gonna flip it right over and just go ahead and sew it. Nothing to match up on this one. It's that last piece that we're gonna have a trick with, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay. So we have our pieces going in here, and we are going to go ahead and press this towards the center. Okay, and just give that a little press on the iron. Thought it'd be fun to do a little patriotic block since it's the 250th year coming up. Okay, now you could just flip this over and sew it, but this might not match exactly to this. So what we want to do is, before we get going on this, we want to flip this bottom piece over, and we're going to take our ruler and we're going to line it up on this seam here, and we are just going to draw a line, a little small line here, right there. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. You want it to line up right with that, okay? Now, when I put this piece together, what I'm looking for is I'm looking to line up the sides of that right there. And I'm going to tuck a little pin in, not into the seam, but anywhere along there just to stabilize it. Now you'll see this might be a little bit off, and we'll trim that, so don't worry. Okay. And go ahead and stitch. Let's see how we did. Oh, good. That looks good. Okay. Then again, you're going to take this piece and you're going to press your seam towards the center, okay? Just like that. Give it a little press with the iron. I'm just using a dry iron. And there's our block, just like that. Okay, get that in the camera for you. So that just makes a nice, quick, easy block, and those can just go together. You don't need to put sashing with them at all. All of these pieces can be different colors. These can be different colors. They don't have to be all matchy-matchy. I kind of pulled out stars and kind of 4th of July or the nautical colors, the blue, the red, white, and blue, to make this block. But you can do any color you want. It could be a Halloween inspired one. It could be all blues. It could be all reds. The more variety you have in your block, the more interesting it is. So if you had lots of different colors going on, script fabric is wonderful, stripes are wonderful. You can just use any kind of fabric you want. You could have these pieces be different colors as well. They don't have to be white. I just like it because to me it sets off the X and the plus when you get it done. But it can be all different colors of fabric and you can just have a great time with it. So hope that was enjoyable for you. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe or give us a comment. We would appreciate that. And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.